Hoi hoi, it's louisity again, and for this video we are gonna do the Sizzlin Summer Book Tag. Hoorah! For some reason I'm feeling the whole like this whenever I think about the Sizzlin Summer Book Tag, and I found this video, and actually I think it was created by Jesse the Reader. So it's been a while since I saw it and I've been wanting to do it, but I felt like I want to film this video when it's already close to summer, or already summer. Well, technically here in the Philippines it's March, so summer begins, but the weather is kind of like weird. Like sometimes it's really hot and blazing, and then sometimes it's really like quite cold, like kind of like the December January period when it is still quite cold. So oh well, yeah, it is what it is, but we're gonna film it anyway, and I've been wanting to do it, so let us begin answering the prompts. The book that I thought about this one is Unexpected Everything by Morgan Manson, because the answer is simple. It is set during the summer vacation, you know, like the whole taking care of dogs like a summer day job, you know. Pretty cute, and that's why it reminds me of summer. For this prompt, I'm going to choose Front Desk by Kelly Yang. Now the pacing kept me going, and it was just like some sort of a, you know, heartwarming. Yep, the situations were tough, but there was something about it that the way that Kelly Yang wrote the scenes were heartwarming. Obviously, because it's like a middle grade preteen book, so it was like, you know, it was, the situations were hard, like the hardships of immigrants, you know, that like have to start from like nothing. Yeah, there was something about it, like the childlike, you know, vibes that you get out of it, and you know how like our main character Mia was like facing the challenges with positivity. It was just so heartwarming. You know, if you've watched my reading vlog, you know how I felt about this overall. Talk about getting burned, you know. I'm gonna have to go with Bright by Jessica Jung. Now, I have to say that I was seated in like most, if not all, of the scenes were like spitfire. They were like a ball of fire that were burning because of the intensity of the scenes. You know, maybe as a K-pop fan, that's why I felt like how, you know, intense, how they were like piercing these like kind of like a sunburn, like burn. Now, I wouldn't say that this book is like my entire personality, but it did like make a splash in my life. It had like so much of an impact, and if you've been like watching videos in my channel for quite some time, especially kind of like in the last year, you folks probably know that I talk about, you know, the Midnight Library, how it had so much impact to me, like the whole existential crisis kind of thing, you know, kind of like the direction that I want to go through. Like there's just so many what ifs in my life. There's so many things that I kind of like want to like take, and that's kind of like similarly to what, you know, Nora, our main character, went through. Like, you know, she had the opportunity to explore like through different books about what if she takes like a certain path, like what if she becomes like this, like a famous swimmer, I get correctly, that was a sport, or like a rock star, or a veterinary person, and like for some reason she was really happy in partaking these when she was already in that situation. And I think it's very important for us to like, you know, read books similarly to these whenever we are thinking about, you know, where do we go in our lives, like, or whenever we see something, like it's okay to aspire to be in a different situation than where we're at, but we have to also bear in mind how, you know, it's not always like greener on the other side, as they say. Like the grass isn't always greener or green on the other side. And you can tell because Matt Haig like wrote like nonfiction books, and I think some of them were like self-help books, and you kind of like, and honestly, if that like bothers you in terms of like reading, like you don't like reading preachy fiction books, maybe this might not be your cup of tea. But like for me, I love how along reading this book, like as we read along, we get to have some gems of wisdom. And you can tell because like Matt Haig writes self-help books, it kind of translated to like this novel, and it's kind of like what he wants to say in like self-help books, although I haven't read any of them, by the way, but I just am aware that he writes nonfiction, and you can tell like how he was able to capture some of that kind of like writing style probably and make it fictionalized. I can go with like almost any book in the Arusha or Pandava series, but I'm gonna have to go with my like 5-star read, as in like perfect 5 out of 5, Arusha and the City of Gold. Now I'm just so hooked like with the plot, like with every scene I was like looking for about what's going to happen next, what are these like characters thinking, like the characterization is on point. And that thing about Kara, I'm like, like people are kind of right all along about her, like in this story, So I just remember it was an adventure, and it was really exciting, and I was just like holding on to it. I was like, my grip was really tight in terms of narrative, because I was just like so hooked. The purity of reading, being able to like immerse myself, within the text, and like kind of like vividly think about the worlds, the scenes, whether what genre it is, and specifically like for fantasy, especially for middle grade preteen fantasy, I just love the fact that I can experience the purity and like the endless boundaries of what like worlds could be like. And that's why I'm choosing Moymoy, Lulumboy, ang Nawawalang Birtud by Segundo Matias Jr. This is one of my favorite like Segundo Matias books that I've read, and I have to say that this reminds me of why I love reading, especially like reading books by Filipino authors. I'm all about supporting authors from any shape, sizes, and forms. Like it's kind of like, okay, there is this author, why not support them, So like, for example, when people say like read books by a certain group of people, it's like, why not read books from those group of people? So let's just pick and be open in terms of like reading books from different authors. So let's go for it. And yeah, I just love the fact that I get to discover like more about Philippine mythology, maybe not too deep, but kind of like tipping in the waters, kind of like splashing every now and then. So yeah, that's why I love reading. Thank you. Actually, I could just like mention almost any book, but I think the reason why I'm choosing this one is because it's like, it's great for me to read like fantasy books, that are like in Filipino language that, can be shared to fellow Filipino kids or any kids that want to learn, the Filipino language. I am going to interpret this question in a different manner, because to me, the reason why I'm choosing this book for this prompt is that it makes me want to have more. Like, I felt like there are so many characters in this story, and I felt like, they could have like their own books, and, we get to explore more about their stories. Like, I'm talking about Slay by Brittany Morris. There is one like trans character, I believe, or a queer character. And I kind of like want to know more about like the story of that person. We have all these other characters, even like that person who wanted to, buy their game, and have the rights, and they all, Kiara's gonna be, if I get it correctly, Kiara is the name of the main character, who will be, sharing profits and all that stuff. I want to know, like, it's like there are so many characters in the story, and you want to know like more about their situations, their circumstances, their experiences. So I hope Brittany considers like picking at least like some of the characters and write like stories about them, or collaborate with someone, with another author, can write, who can help flesh out like great stories for these other characters. I would have to go with It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. Now, the reason why I'm choosing this one, because when I was reading this, I was going through something. Probably you might have an idea when you watch my 2023 recap, how, 2023 for me has been kind of like a roller coaster ride. And this book, like, especially that scene where, Lily's mother was talking about like her experiences with Lily's father, it's like, it taught me to forgive not only like the people like that hurt me, but also myself. In a way, like, at the end of the day, it's like you have to forgive them. Of course, you have to at the same time like set your boundaries. Like, forgiveness is not exactly like, it's like apology accepted, access denied. So it's not like when you forgive somebody, you let them back into your life. You can still like, forgiveness is like you're doing it for yourself, and that's kind of like, what happened to me. Like, I am, processing and letting go of that like pain. So whenever you forgive someone, technically it's like you're doing it more for yourself, not for that person or those people. You are trying to rise up and go forward, because chances are these people who hurt you, they don't care about you. Oh my god. Okay, but yes, it taught me about like self-respect and to establish like boundaries. Like, if this person is going to hurt me, it might be in a different context, but hey, still, this person like hurt me, and like if I keep on like giving chances, it's like it will be harder to get out. So I love that about it. Like, I love that the book mentioned that. It really helped me during that time, to give myself self-respect and, in a way, forgiveness. From my want to read pile at Goodreads, I'm gonna choose Redwood Court by Delana R.A. Dameron, just because of the colors. But from my bookshelves, I'm gonna go with Piecing Me Together by Renee Watson. Of course, the colors, it's very colorful. When I think about summer, I think about like colorful things, kind of like the flowers, the fruits, and all that summery vibe, or maybe beaches could be. But if not beach, I would think about like colorful covers, and sometimes yellow. That's why, for some reason, I associate this book with the color yellow because of this part. And look, the blurbs are colorful. So yeah, this book kind of like, at least amongst the books in my bookshelves, this is the one that gave me like colorful, like summery vibes. And if you do not agree, let me know if you can see my books behind me, let me know which one of them gives you summer vibes then. Let me know down below, what are your answers for the questions in this book tag? Are you also a fan of Jessie the Reader? Or, you can share what are your plans for the summer. I know that summer is still a long way to go in some other territories or countries or nations, but feel free to share them down below if you already have one. And if you want to do this tag, well then, bam, consider yourself tagged then. If you've made it this far, leave an email emoji, and I hope you folks liked this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, click that subscribe button and hit that little bell icon somewhere down there to keep yourselves posted about my videos. And also put down links and handles of my social media accounts, so feel free to check me out and follow me there and support me there as well. As always, thank you so much for watching. Always be thankful and unleash the reader in you. Bye, y'all.